Hey everybody, welcome back to Trial and Error. I do want to start this video off with a little disclaimer. What I'm about to do doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. I just kind of want to see if it works. Here's what we have to play with. Some of you may remember this from a video not too long ago. Took this trim pump off my parents' boat. We thought that this might have been a problem. It actually wasn't, so I brought it home thinking I'd use it for a project like this, and here we are. Got a couple of hydraulic lines that are probably longer than they need to be, but that's okay. Took another cheap shift knob and a Dremel, carved out the center so I could mount a switch into it, have it feed out that way. And then I made this, just bent up some solid steel here as an offset bracket for this to sit on. And this kind of puts it right where you want it. Much easier to get to than the factory location. And now I will have blade up and down and then left and right deflection, hopefully, right on the top here. And we'll wrap this all up and make it look real nice once it's installed. Got some hydraulic quick disconnects that obviously we'll need to remove the blade. And then I got a 14-inch hydraulic cylinder from Win. And this is the best deal I found. I'm gonna link all of this stuff in the description. But what is really special about this, aside from it being a pretty inexpensive piston for a 14-inch, it's got a 2-inch stroke on it, or sorry, a 2-inch diameter, right? 2-inch? Yeah, 2-inch bore, 14-inch stroke. The rod diameter is 1.125. But it comes with these pins, and these little pins can get pretty pricey. It comes with pins on both ends, which you're gonna need to buy separately. So buying this was, I think, a really good move. This may seem like a bit of an odd location choice, but it's actually perfect for what I need. I wanted my inputs and outputs here to be pretty much in the middle of the machine so that in the winter I can use this to run the back blade, and in the summer when I put the bucket on, I can run a third function brush hog cloth thing, whatever the hell they're called. I gotta build one. But this way my lines aren't crazy long or running front to back on the tractor. It's just a really nice place to have a set of outputs. The other thing I didn't want to do is coming off of these is a very small line and they're pretty delicate. So that's why I made that plate. This is all like beyond super solid. And now I can just make some hard lines that will scoop over and connect to the back of this. And that way when I'm connecting and disconnecting, I'm not putting pressure on the connections for the pump. Our next step is going to be just that. So I got to make up some hard lines. I'm just going to use brake line. It's only a short run here. Ready to bench test here, so I just got some jumper cables coming down to power the pump. We'll fill it up with hydraulic fluid here, check for leaks. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of leaks because it's me. and then we'll see how this thing moves. Somehow, I'm actually out of hydraulic oil. That never happens. So we're gonna use some ATF instead. Well, we'll make some sparks and see what happens. Actually, this is gonna make a freaking mess. Okay. Now we'll make some sparks and see if anything happens. Wow, she is drinking that fluid down. Okay, let's try the other way. And we have our first leak. Why are you leaking? Because I crimped you too close to the collar. That's why you're fucking leaking. Oh, hey, there goes a piston. I'm pretty happy about all of that. All right, we'll just remake this one line and our life should be getting easier. We got our little leak solved, nice and easy. And now we are, now we gotta figure this freaking piston out. I think we're gonna wanna do something like this. With the blade all the way in. Is this gonna be out too far? No, actually, it's gonna be good. So something like that. So I'm gonna start, we're gonna make a bracket that mounts here, because that for sure needs to go there. And then we'll just keep crossing bridges until we come to it. All right, so we know we want it angled like this. I guess we're just gonna build off the top of this, have it come down with a pin. All right, will that work? Okay, so how does this work? Have the pin come off the top. It's not gonna work. Well, we know we need another bracket for this to mount to, so let's make what we know we need first. And then we'll kind of take it one step at a time. Just a couple of tacks on the bracket for now, see how this thing moves. Oh yeah, good luck! I'd say that is plenty friggin' strong enough. Woo! Happy dance, feeling the flow, doing the happy dance. I mounted the handle right here. It's bolted on to the original stub, but it is completely removable, so you can go right back to the old shifter. But for me, like, this is where my FEL is. This is right where I want my rear blade control. It's the most natural spot. Reaching down here, I would often end up grabbing my cruise control knob, and that's a dangerous combination of things, because you're not expecting to go forward when you pull that. I've got the wire run down the shaft here, down through the bottom, and it's coming out near the pump. But we obviously can't use this switch to run that pump. That pump will probably draw 45, 50 amps at startup. So we're gonna need a couple of relays here to take the load off this switch. And while I'm in here, I'm gonna replace this switch too, because I like these new ones much better. These are not waterproof, these are, and sometimes I actually do spray this thing out. So got a few things to work on. So we have two automotive style relays. I don't know for sure if these are gonna hold up, but that's okay. That's why I'm putting sockets on here. In case they're not, I can get a higher amperage relay and just change out the relay portion. Normally you would need two relays on a motor like this to reverse it. However, because it's a trim pump motor, it's actually wired with reverse built in. So we're just using a relay to trigger each side of the positive. So this will be a very easy wiring job in that sense. I'm going to make a little mount for these first. Made myself a spacer. Slide this little bracket on, and this will actually screw right into the pump. And I'm keeping them at a downward angle just to help with rain. Like so. So we're just gonna run one 8-gauge cable up to the battery for juice. We're gonna have to find a good ground, or make a good ground back here at some point as well. So the ground from the pump is going to join the ground from the relays, and then we need to make a good ground here somewhere. I really don't want to drill into this because it's so friggin' thick. It's going to take me 10 years to get through it, but I do need to put another bolt here anyway. Do we have enough cord? Just barely. Yep. All right, so we're going to have to drill through this FEL support. Does this have enough? Not really. Oh yeah, maybe it does. Yeah, it does. Okay. There's our verdict. It's gonna suck, but I gotta drill through that. We gonna be here a while. Grab a Twix.
2,000 years later.
All of the wiring is now finished. Got 12 volts coming off the positive post there into that red fuse holder. Line goes across the front. And it runs right down through a factory hole. Runs under the engine all the way back across. And we have our pump all installed and wrapped up nice and neatly. About a 40 amp fuse, sorry, a 30 amp fuse in the fuse holder. These are rated for 40 amps. One does forward, one does reverse. Wrapped everything up, filled up our reservoir, although it actually could use maybe a little bit more, still a little bit of air in there, but not much. Right now our blade is basically dead straight, so just to give you an idea on the range of motion, so that is one side. This is actually the way that I used to keep it pretty much all the time, except this is even a little bit more angled, which is great. There's our other angle. So it's perfect. So functionally, I am super happy with this thing. It's time to disassemble, paint, and then make a guard on this side to protect that pump from the owner of this tractor who likes to just crash into trees. So we'll work on that next. Minus a couple of paint runs, it actually came out really good. Honestly, this came out better than expected. I think it looks relatively clean considering this is a boat part on a tractor. My little protection bracket here is made out of 3/16 plate, very solid, tapped into the frame here and then into the loader arm, so that sucker could handle a good hit, and that was the point. Made a little extension here to help protect the reservoir, but honestly it's just more of a deflection piece to deflect sticks and stuff away. Mounts, love this. This came out like factory for me. I'm really happy with it, and then in the summer I can continue to use this pump to drive front implements or work the thumb on the backhoe, which has a manual thumb right now, but we may make that automatic. On the back here, again, forgive the horrible paint, but it is fine for a tractor. We've got all of our mounts painted up nicely. New bracket on the back here with the dirty weld full of holes. I was in a rush. I didn't want to clean it up, so don't judge that. It's strong. It's just not the prettiest thing in the world. But that all worked out really, really well. Lines are run nicely. They don't interfere with anything. So again, we just created a solution to a problem that never existed using parts that were never intended to be used in this way. And that's okay. That's kind of what I like to do anyway, and take advantage of, you know, free use stuff whenever you can. Really all I paid for was the piston and the line. So that was maybe, I don't know, 150 bucks and we're done, versus hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get a third function valve kit set up for this. And then when you do that, you're not getting any additional control. Basically, all you're doing is adding a solenoid, so you have to push a switch, and then the same stick movement that used to do something else now does this other thing. To me, that's even more complicated. I can move the blade up while I'm angling it. You can't do that with a third function valve. That's why it's nice to have it as its own independent little hydraulic system that works even when the tractor's not running. So I'm not expecting this to catch on. I just wanted to see if I could do it. And we did it. I can't wait for the next snowstorm to try this, because I've always been pigeonholed by pushing the snow just one direction. Now I can go in all kinds of different paths and more efficient movements because I can swing the snow in any direction I want. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, and or criticisms, throw them down in the comment section below me. Otherwise, everyone have a great day.